What did we learn about Liverpool in the Premier League title race against Arsenal? A 1-1 draw, very entertaining. And Liverpool showed a lot of qualities why I've always backed them to be in the Premier League title race this season. And we'll just do an overview about what happened yesterday for Liverpool at Anfield. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. There were lots of positives. Arsenal are one of the best sides in the league, and Liverpool did come back into a game where they were 1-0 down very early on in the game. Liverpool have still got a transitional midfield. McAllister's not available. Gravenberch not fully fit. So they had this mixture of kind of Curtis Jones and Endo. Isn't first choice for Jurgen Klopp. Let's be clear. And that midfield had to navigate Declan Rice, Odegaard, and Kai Havertz, who have been electric in the last few weeks. So it shows a lot that Liverpool are able to show quality when there are massive changes to the side. One of the best left backs in the world. Someone commented on my previous video saying that I didn't talk about Andy Robertson enough, and it's a very, very valid point. Andy Robertson is probably the best left back in the world on his day. He's not been available for a while now. Tsimikas obviously very unlucky with a collarbone injury as well. Very similar to Andy Robertson in terms of both left backs being injured now for Liverpool. Joe Gomez comes in. He's one of the best players for Liverpool. He scored a beautiful goal. So the one thing I'd have to say in the game against Arsenal is that they came back from 1-0 down Liverpool, and they showed a lot of resilience, and they showed adaptability to get back in the game and get through Arsenal. I think Liverpool probably should have won the game. There are a couple of big player performances that I have to talk about in this game, in this video, and these kind of performances translate into Premier League title winning campaigns. Obviously, all 11 players have to be at a very good level for you to win the Premier League, but when your centre-backs are performing like Van Dijk and Konate did against Arsenal, really limited Jesus, really limited Saka and Martinelli, that is a platform to build success from. And I've been saying it on this channel, I've been saying it on various podcasts I do for a long time, but I think Konate is a fantastic centre-back. I think he's got the ability to be world-class. And he doesn't get talked about enough because of Van Dijk. He doesn't get talked to, he isn't as fashionable as Saliba because Saliba is a little bit newer in the game. But Konate and Saliba both could be playing for France and be the best centre-back partnership at international level because they're both at a very similar level. Konate was a monster against Martinelli. Absolutely bullied him, schooled him, took him to school. And some of the challenges he put in were clean, they were crisp, and they were dominant. And I think Konate is an absolutely unbelievable centre-back. Matip, I know, has been injured. Quance has come in. But if those two stay fit with rotation in the League Cup, rotation in the Europa League, and those two remain fit and fully informed from now until the remainder of the season, that is a major platform. It's one of the best defensive partnerships in Europe. And Van Dijk was absolutely fantastic as well. Was very good on the ball. I think Liverpool come out from the back. I think Konate's definitely improved in that regard. He's definitely come out from the back a lot better. His passing range is really good. So that is one highlight I'd definitely say for Liverpool, it being in their favour. They've got a defensive partnership that is really, really good. It's as good as Saliba and Gabriel, in my honest opinion. And with the likes of Ruben Diaz and John Stones maybe not being fully fit or not being necessarily on form, that is one advantage that Liverpool currently have potentially over Manchester City. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. We have to talk about Mohamed Salah. He is the star player yet again for Liverpool. The goal against Arsenal was superb. The technique to lace that near post was world class. And look, obviously, again, you want all your players to be performing at a very, very high level, to be performing optimally. But I don't think Arsenal have that forward player in form like Salah is. I don't even think Man City do. You'd argue that even Aston Villa, even if you debate me on if they're even in the Premier League title race, do they have a player of world-class quality like Salah scoring goals at the moment? I don't know. Look, obviously, Haaland is one of those players. Maybe Saka is for Arsenal, but we didn't see that from Saka at Anfield. We didn't. And we've not arguably seen it from Haaland now because of a little bit of an injury, a little bit of form. But Salah is doing it week in, week out, and it hasn't stopped since the first game in August. I mean, his finishing is unbelievable. His work rate is absolutely exceptional. And if you're talking about the fine margins of Premier League title winning sides, Salah is the exact example of that. It was a beautiful goal, and it was a beautiful moment where you do think that if he could be scoring more of those, I think he's fully capable of scoring more than the chance that he scored against Arsenal. There's a moment where he tried to feed in, I think it was Gakpo. He tried to feed in Gakpo, and the ball overrun. I think he was a little bit too selfless in the game. I think a couple more shots past Zinchenko, curling it around Zinchenko. I think he could have scored a hat-trick against Arsenal. That's not to denigrate, my perception of what Saliba did in the game, because he was absolutely electric as well. And I'll talk about that on this channel later on. But Salah is the difference maker. He's a maverick, and he's world class. I think he might be the best player in world football. So that's what Liverpool have going into the Premier League title race. Players at the back, players going forward. Alisson is a big one as well. McAllister, Szoboszlai can only get better. Through and through, this Liverpool side are very, very good, and they showed that against Arsenal. Now, in the context of the Premier League title race, we have to put into perspective what has actually happened, though. And I got a little bit of feedback on my previous video, sort of saying that I'm chopping and changing my mind a lot. I said from day dot, Liverpool are rivals to win the Premier League. I've said that. It hasn't changed. But I would be frustrated in the Premier League title race as it gets closer to the new year. It's a very interesting season. So many sides are close to each other. That Liverpool only got 2 points at home against Arsenal and Man United. Now, the point against Arsenal is maybe fair enough because they came back. They're 1-0 down. There definitely had to be a level of fatigue in the final 15 minutes, especially after the cup performance for Liverpool. And they were still running their heads off. So don't get me wrong, it wasn't a work rate issue. But there had to be a level of fatigue. So maybe a draw against Arsenal, the best side in the league at that point, isn't a bad result, especially being 1-0 down, of course. Especially with McAllister being injured, for example, as well. But the 0-0 against Man United, 34 shots against Onana, and they didn't score one. I think that's symptomatic of a larger problem at Liverpool, and that is their conviction. Salah has conviction, 1,000,000%. You could argue he could be a little bit better against Arsenal. He loses the ball a few times, too many times for my liking, in terms of dribbling the ball and the pass going a little bit overhit. But the other two players have to be found for Jurgen Klopp. I don't think he knows what it is yet. I think you need consistency. I think Liverpool need 8, 9, 10 games in a row where it's the same front three. Now, is it Núñez that can run in behind and bully people with that chance that he's going to miss 2 out of 3 shots that he takes? Literally miss. Not even if the keeper saves it, but won't even get it on target. Some of the shooting he's displayed in the last few weeks is really poor. That's just the facts. Gakpo didn't offer enough against Arsenal. It's hard against Saliba and Gabriel. He's just come in. He's just replaced Núñez. I think he'll find a lot more joy against the bottom 10 of the Premier League. And then Diaz, who I'm a massive fan of, was absolutely superb and electric against Tottenham Hotspur. The game I remember in particular where I thought, wow, he's really back to his best after being injured. Obviously scored that goal after his dad got released from the situation in Colombia. So you want more for Diaz against Arsenal, and I didn't see enough. So the left wing situation is still an issue. So maybe it's Núñez on the left, Gakpo down the middle, Salah on the right. Where does Diego Jota fit in? These are questions that Liverpool still need to answer going into Premier League title race because that front three isn't quite clicking. Salah is 1/3 of them that is. The midfield have got issues because Szoboszlai, McAllister are still transitioning, still settling in. And McAllister obviously isn't even playing. I think they miss him massively. Endo got a little bit bullied for me. Good on the ball, Endo. Played some beautiful balls over the top. But a little bit bullied at points by the Arsenal midfield. And that's where I see Liverpool. Those issues, I think they're manageable. I'm not saying that Liverpool are out of the title race. This is just a video that is an observation of the weaknesses and the pros and the cons, if you will, for Liverpool in the Premier League title race. Because I think they are Man City's biggest competitor, more than Arsenal. I really do think that. And I've laid out the strengths. You have to let me know in the comments down below what you think. But thanks very much for watching. And I'll see you very, very soon.